What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring all of you this evening. So what we're going to be covering in this update is a little bit of the technicals on what we're seeing on AMC right now, the Ortex short interest utilization cost to borrow updates on both AMC and GameStop, just so we know where we're at in terms of those kind of short squeeze metrics right there. But then we're going to get into some of the more important things that I want to get across to everybody, because there is a lot of misinformation being spread around a variety of different social media outlets surrounding the proxy statement with AMC and how many shares that retail investors actually own. If you were to read the statements that were made in the proxy statement at face value, it would suggest that investors in AMC own about 400 times more than the issued and outstanding shares that AMC has previously issued. So we're going to break this down and kind of go over exactly what we're seeing here in this proxy statement, and we are going to be going over a little bit of a warning from Ken Griffin as well. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And again, guys, if you do want some free 1348 crossover alerts on the 4-hour time frame on over 450 stocks, make sure you check out that link down below in the description. If you do want to upgrade to premium and really take your trading seriously and get all of those private live streams and trading algorithms, you can check that out as well. So AMC closed the day today down about 0.26%, 4 cents, finishing at $15.26. Today in the market was absolutely crazy. We saw the overall market, the S&P 500, falling over 1.5% at one point today, and then rallied and finished into the green. The amount of volatility in the market right now is excessive. Now, we are going to be kind of waiting in the overall market to see what Powell has to say for us on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. after the FOMC statement is released at 2 p.m. And after that happens, I think we're really going to see the market really start to pick a direction for the next month, whether it's going to be up or if we're really going to see the market start to trend lower. Now, again, on the 4-hour time frame for AMC here, we're still hovering that 13 EMA going down, and what we need to see is a significant break above the 1348 crossover, closing candles above the 200 EMA, very similar to what we saw back here, so we can get that momentum back to the upside and hopefully break these more recent highs. Now, when we come over to the Ortex data right here, let me just give this a quick refresh. So we have the most up-to-date data that Ortex is giving us. We had 3 million borrowed shares against us today. In return shares, 1.69 million. So that comes out to a net borrow of about 1.34 million shares. Average cost to borrow, 1.98%, but the max cost to borrow stepped up a little bit today at 4.33%, with estimated short interest at 18.76%. Now, in addition to this, we have GameStop over here with a net return of 556,000 shares, 19.28% estimated short interest, 6.29% average cost to borrow, and 10.18% max. So pretty typical numbers that we've been seeing in the past on GME that were kind of reported today. Now, let's get into this situation with this proxy statement for AMC and exactly why people are getting so confused, because honestly, when I read this for the first time, I was a bit confused too, and had to really go through all the information that was out there to really get a good understanding of what we really were looking at here. So in this how votes are counted section, a quorum is required to transact business at our annual meeting. Stockholders of record holding shares of common stock constituting 1/3 of the shares issued and outstanding are entitled to vote at the annual meeting shall constitute a quorum. If you have returned valid proxy instructions or attend the meeting in person, your shares will be counted for the purpose of determining whether there is a quorum, even if you abstain from voting on some or all of the matters introduced at the meeting. Now, here's where the confusion comes. At the close of business on April 21st, 2022, the latest practicable date before the filing of this proxy statement, there were 516 million shares of common stock issued and outstanding, so a little bit more than 516 million, almost 517 million. And then we come down a little bit further, and it says they're held by 10,498 registered holders. Now, this is where the confusion comes. A lot of people were saying and kind of assuming that this group of 10,000 individuals owned all of these 516 million shares. Now, not everybody has gone through Computershare and completely registered their shares. So if 10,000 people own 516 million shares, well, then that would kind of prove to us that we own many, many times more than the issued and outstanding shares of AMC shares. Now, when we come back over here, this communication right here with John Merriweather, see right here, AMC Entertainment, John Merriweather, Vice President, Capital Markets and Investor Relations, a response to a question about this, the 10,480 are part of the approximately 4 million shareholders who own the more than 516 million shares. So it's talking about just that little section of investors that have registered, not the 4 million shareholders that own the 516 million shares. Now, again, I was seeing people as well saying John Merriweather was saying that retail investors or just investors in general were owning more than 516 million shares, and people were kind of very excited about this. But when you come back over here, 516,820,000, that's more than 516 million shares. AMC, the company at this time, doesn't seem like they're going to be coming out and essentially saying that, oh, we own more than the float. With the amount of data that they have and the way that these votes are done by these proxy companies, anytime they're going to receive more votes than they actually should, they're just going to trim off the top and make the numbers work. And that's just kind of how the system is set up at the current time. Now, let's get into some of this situation with Ken Griffin and Citadel and some of the statements that he was making today. So Citadel's Griffin warns the West faces existential problems, eventually becoming self-reinforcing, which would create serious problems for the Fed in its efforts to expeditiously tighten monetary policy. Now, what he's really talking about here, should inflation ease to just 4% year over year by the end of 2022, then the Fed would be able to relax, Griffin said. But if price pressures remain stubbornly persistent, then policymakers are going to need to hit the brakes hard, which will likely cause a recession. Now, I know that a lot of you, when we're talking about this part of the video right here, are going to be saying, why do we even care what Ken Griffin thinks? He has a beneficial interest in coming out, just like Bill Ackman and a lot of these other talking heads on these media outlets, in basically giving their own investment theses, because a lot of people are going to be following what Ken Griffin, Bill Ackman, or a lot of these other big investors are saying. Now, if Ken Griffin in this statement right here is saying, well, if inflation comes down, everything's going to be fine, but if it doesn't, everything's kind of going to get screwy. Well, let's see what Ken Griffin's performance has been like in the first quarter of 2022. When we look right here, Citadel's flagship fund rallied 7% in April during turmoil and brings the 2022 returns to nearly 13%. Now, when the market is significantly taking losses during this period, he is obviously short a greater amount than he is long in the overall market right now in order to generate these types of returns. Now, what is he shorting? Well, it's very hard to tell because never in any of those 13F reports are we ever going to see a short position. We'll see puts, which can give us an understanding and a little bit of an insight into where they're potentially making this money from. But in general, they're basically short the market right now as it continues to come down, especially in the first quarter of 2022. So that is going to wrap up this update for AMC. If you guys enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I hope you guys are having a great evening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.